Yeah.
Let's get this show.
You're doing it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Try to do what I'm trying to do. Look, I was going to give you the fist bump like COVID fist bump.
Oh, no, it's like arm. Yeah, but we live together and do other stuff together.
We do a lot of other stuff together.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Sid the Entertainer. I'm asking y'all to check out the Loveology podcast. This is...
Hello, and welcome to the Loveology podcast, where we talk about love and life with laughter. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jason.
He's the carefree one.
She's the serious one. And we're married. We have been since 2012, and we like to think of ourselves as a couple of loveologists.
Not because we are the experts, but because we just love love.
We enjoy studying and talking about it, so we thought, let's just start a podcast.
A place where we can share what we have learned about love, relationships, and marriage.
You can share what you've learned, and we can all grow together.
So here we are. Are you ready?
Let's get started. Hey, what's going on? It's another episode of the Loveology podcast. I hope y'all ready to rock and roll for another episode. What's up, baby girl?
What's up, honey?
I'm doing outstanding. How about you?
I'm doing good.
You good? You good? You ready to get this show on the road?
I am.
The week was good. We had a holiday. The 4th was, so this week was, kind of lagging a little bit, but we made it through.
Yeah, I mean, as long as if I can get the groceries in the house, you know, and that's like way better, right? Yeah. So as long as that happens, then I'm like smooth sailing.
I understand that.
Work it's kind of weird because when you have a short week, you think you'll be more relaxed, but it's like, nah, people just try to, cram everything into 4 days.
Yeah. So it becomes more of a little bit stressful week.
Yes.
Then you got to pick up the slack that you didn't get together the following week. So yeah, totally get it. I think for me, as long as I get up early in the morning to get some time for myself, you know what I'm saying? I think that's important. That's mental health right there. That's important. Yeah. So as long as I get that time in the morning, the weeks can go kind of fly by. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So, hey, we're going to get this party started. But, I always want to give a shout out to our top countries and our top states. So we already know the United States is our top country that listen to the Loveology podcast. And so we'll start with the states this time. So our top states this week was starting off, I'm starting from the bottom to the top. We're going to start off with Arkansas coming in at number 3. So shout out to Arkansas.
Oh, I thought you was about to say they was number 1. It's like, whoa, no, Arkansas.
From the bottom to the top.
Yeah, you did say that.
Sorry. I did. That's okay. And then number 2 will be California. So shout out to Cali for being number 2. Listening to the Loveology podcast this past week. And number 1 is Ohio again.
What's up, Ohio?
I don't know. We watched Black Widow, but I fell asleep on it. But I think they started off in Ohio.
Oh wait.
Yeah, so we won't do any spoiler alerts.
This is a new movie. We can't be talking about this.
Yeah,
it just came out this weekend.
Right.
I liked it. Like Jason said, he fell asleep. But I liked it. I stayed awake.
Yeah, I think I was just a little bit more tired. I guess.
That's what it was.
And then for our top countries, starting from the bottom to the top. Excluding United States because it is number 1. But,
United States. Just go ahead and say United States number 1.
Yeah, United States number 1. But I want to give a shout out to the other one. So number 3 is United Kingdom, Nigeria, and Australia. So shout out to those awesome countries.
Awesome. Tied for number 3.
Yeah, tied for number 3.
Hi, Nigeria.
What's up?
Y'all been with us for a while too.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. And then number 2 would be Canada. So shout out to Canada. Appreciate you. Yeah. And our number 1 other than United States is India. So India is always showing up and showing out.
Hi, India.
So we appreciate y'all out there. But this country that I want to talk about, they're not on the top countries as far as downloads overall, but that we are on their charts because I guess they listen to a lot of relationship content. I'm not sure, but we're in the top charts, and we've been on the top charts with Ukraine for I want to say like a solid month.
Almost. It feels like a month. Yeah, it does feel like a month.
So shout out to the Ukraine. Even though you're not in our top, but we're in your top, you know what I'm saying? So we definitely appreciate it. And I do want to give some, I was just kind of curious. Ukraine is really a young country. Huh. It actually got its Declaration of Independence in August 24th of 1994.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did some little research on that, and they are actually a large export. I want to say the largest exports of sunflowers. So sunflower seed oils and all that good stuff. And I think China is a big buyer from them as well. And they got the world's deepest metro system. So, they got some pretty cool stuff going on in Ukraine. We would love to come visit. So definitely want to give a shout out to the Ukraine. Oh yeah. And they also are known to the ones that started Easter, the actual holiday of the whole situation of Easter. Yeah. And it actually predates Christ. Mm-hmm. So, Easter is in the Bible, but that's a whole nother topic. But they the ones that started with the eggs and all that, painting the eggs and dyeing the eggs. So shout out to Ukraine, man. We definitely appreciate it.
Well, that's nice of you to do a little research, Jason.
A little something. That was
very nice.
Try to bring a little flair to it. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. I'm smarter now because you just informed me of some stuff that I did not know. So
well, you can always double check, do your own research. You know what I'm saying? Because I did see some conflicting dates for their independence. I saw one date was 91, another one was 94, but I think I think it's 1994.
Okay,
but do your own research. You know what I'm saying? And then some people some people don't like to be called the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. It's Ukraine.
Yeah.
Don't call it the Ukraine. Just Ukraine.
Who called? Okay, never mind.
Because sometimes people say the Ukraine.
Oh, I guess I have said that before. Mm-hmm. Actually.
It's just Ukraine.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's get this show.
You're doing it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Try to do what I try to do. Look, I was going to give you the fist bump like COVID, fist bump.
Oh, no, it's like arm. Yeah, but we live together and do other stuff together.
We do a lot of other stuff together.
So, Jason.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of PMS?
Yes, I heard of PMS.
What does it mean?
That's your premenstrual cycle. But that's PMC, cycle.
I actually don't know what the S stand for now that you say it. But actually, I'm talking about another PMS. I just thought that would be funny. When I saw PMS, of course, you think of that. But I am talking about the phrase that some researchers or therapists use to say what are the three biggest things that couples fight over. Now that you know that, what do you think that PMS stands for?
I don't know.
You can't guess the M and the S.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's parental.
No. Oh yes, exactly. Yeah. Parenting.
Yeah.
Money and sex.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna talk about
that. That works.
Yeah. That seems about accurate, huh?
Yeah.
That's probably the three things that people fight over a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about parenting. And I think
so is this a 3-part episode?
No. We're just going to do
Yeah,
we're just going to do the P. I just thought it was funny because it was like PMS, or maybe I'm just corny.
It's all good.
Anyway, so yes, we're going to talk about parenting, and I think this is very interesting because I think this is one of the things that people totally forget to talk about. I mean, people forget to talk about money and sex for sure, before they get married. But I think that when you're in love with a person and you're getting married, you just don't think about what their parenting style is going to be.
Nope.
Because you're just thinking about the two of you.
Right.
If you're not thinking about children, of course you may have the conversation about children. Do you want to have children? That's probably as far as that conversation is probably going to go. You may go a little bit deeper to, like we said on a couple of episodes previous to this, where, you may go a little bit deeper about, well, what will happen if we're unable to have children? Would you be open to adoption and stuff? But I just don't think that a question about what's your parenting style would probably come up for most people. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, unless the one of them has children or both of them have children.
Yes.
So yeah, that'll be. But if you don't have children, how would you even know your parenting style?
Right. Yes, exactly. It's just not something that you're thinking about it, but that's an excellent point, Jason. If you have children, then this question probably would come up for sure.
Because I ain't know my parenting style.
Do you know your parenting style now?
I said I didn't know before I had children, but I don't look. All I know is me. So maybe I don't know what style it is.
Did you know that researchers have identified 4 different types of styles.
Try to put me in a box.
Huh?
They trying to put me in a box.
Well,
we'll see. I would love to hear this.
So we're going to talk about this because once children are introduced into the relationship, if you have different parenting styles, this can cause a lot of arguments in your relationship. Yes. A lot of arguments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Me and Jason have had our fair share because what do you know? Me and Jason have different parenting styles.
Oh, okay. Is it the 4 quadrant thing and this one conflicts with this one and this one conflicts with this one?
No, we'll get it. No, not really. We'll get into it. Okay. I mean, they're opposite, right? Mm-hmm. It's different mentalities. So of course you'll have conflicting, you'll have arguments about it. So, we'll get into it about the different 4. So, basically, with everything, communication is the key.
Sure.
And if you find yourself having arguments about, how you want to parent the children, you definitely just need to talk about it. And the one thing, we love to do research here at the Loveology podcast. Yeah. So I did some research and, one of the first things that they say, researchers, therapists say, is that you need to identify, you need to be aware of what your parenting style is. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're going to do first is we're going to learn what the 4 parenting styles are. And we're going to talk about, who's what.
Okay.
Right. And also later on in the episode, we'll talk about, the importance of understanding why your parenting style is the way that it is. Yes. It's not enough to just know how you are.
Right.
You need to really dig deep and figure out why you're that way.
Okay.
Right. Because it could work and it could be a positive or it could be a negative. You know what I mean? It could be something that you maybe should change, once you really identify why you're like that. Right. Yeah. So go ahead.
Quick question. Mm-hmm. You knew I had a question before. You weren't even looking at me. She can just hear me. Feel my question.
Yeah. You took a deep breath. Yeah. That's what being married for a long time. I just know this man over here very well. I know him better than he know himself. Actually.
Maybe so. You know what I'm saying? Because she can see me better than I can see myself. You hear me? But anywho, my question is one parenting style better than the other?
The therapists and researchers would say so.
We're gonna find out. Don't go away.
So, there's 4. You have the authoritative, authoritarian, mm-hmm. permissive, and uninvolved.
Okay, so the first 2 was different. I thought you was repronouncing something.
No.
So could you say?
Hopefully, I'm saying the word right. Authoritarian.
I'm gonna have it on. There you go.
Yes, authoritarian. Mm-hmm. Authoritative. Permissive and uninvolved.
Wow. So uninvolved is, man, we already know that's, what I'm saying, that's at the bottom. There it is. So we already know uninvolved is that.
Yeah.
So the other 3, okay.
Let's see.
Get into it.
So we'll say this. I'll just go ahead and say this. Of course, these are boxes. So there's exceptions always to everything, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So you may find, as I read the descriptions of these things, you may have a little bit of multiple, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Or some people are just straight that, right? Mm-hmm. So it just depends.
On certain aspects of the child's life, you may be uninvolved. Like my daughter, when she gets of age and her cycle comes, I'm going to be uninvolved, right?
No, I don't think that's necessarily what it means. We're gonna go through it.
Okay.
So yes, you will be uninvolved in that. But I mean, once we go through it, then you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
You'll see what I mean. So let's go to authoritarian.
Okay. Authoritarian.
Okay. So here's some statements, and I'm getting this from verywellfamily.com. I really like this description. It just really, makes it plain and simple. So I'm just going to read right from that. Okay. It says, if you agree with these statements, you're probably an authoritarian. Okay. You believe kids should be seen and not heard. When it comes to rules, you believe it's my way or the highway. You don't take your child's feelings into consideration. If any of these ring true, you might be an authoritarian parent. Authoritarian parents believe kids should follow the rules without exceptions. Authoritarian parents are famous for saying, because I said so, Right. When a child questions the reasons behind a rule, they are not interested in negotiating, and their focus is on obedience.
Yes.
What do you think?
I like that. No, what I'm saying is I like how they breaking it down. I'm not that. I feel like sometimes I can be on certain situations, especially if time is a factor. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got time for all that. You know what I'm saying? I can explain to you later. Or sometimes if I, sometimes you don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Just being truthful. And here's the thing. This is no judgment zone. You know what I'm saying? If whatever you decide to be, even though I did the little womp earlier about you being uninvolved, we're going to get more into that, obviously. But, who knows what the circumstances is and why you are involved. Again, what you said, you might got to dig a little bit deeper and feel why, maybe if I was in the same situation that you was, the people that are uninvolved, maybe I'll be uninvolved too. You know what I'm saying? So definitely not trying to, pass any judgments over here. So let's, we can proceed. But like how they broke that down, I like to ask questions. So I understand my children are my children. So they're going to ask me questions, and I just got to be prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? And I got to explain it the best way I can, as simply as I can. And hopefully they can understand it. But go ahead.
Yeah. So here's the rest of that. They also don't allow kids to get involved in problem-solving challenges or obstacles. Instead, they make the rules and enforce the consequences with little regard for a child's opinion. Authoritarian parents may use punishments instead of discipline. So rather than teach a child how to make better choices, they're invested in making kids feel sorry for their mistakes. Children who grow up with strict authoritarian parents tend to follow rules much of the time, but their obedience comes at a price. They may also become hostile or aggressive rather than think about how to do things better in the future. They often focus on the anger they feel toward their parents. Since authoritarian parents are often strict, their children may grow to become good liars in an effort to avoid punishment.
Oh, wow. That's pretty dope. I can look. Hey, just being straight up, I can hear myself in some of that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I was sure about to say, Jason.
What?
You can hear yourself like how? Go ahead, finish.
Oh, just trying to avoid. You know what I'm saying, the heat.
So you feel like you grew up in an authoritarian household?
In some way, yes.
In some ways,
yeah.
Right. I definitely grew up in an authoritarian household, but I did not resort to lying. To avoid punishment. I was very obedient. I was a very obedient child. So the way that was negative in my life is that I was just too obedient, right? Like I didn't know how to you
follow all the rules.
I follow all the rules, right? Like, because
look, let me tell y'all, when she graduated boot camp and I went to go visit her, it's so hilarious. We was going somewhere. I don't know where we was going, on base. And baby girl didn't want to cross the street without going through a crosswalk. Like literally, I'm like, babe, we can cross the street right here. Well, where's the cross? There's the crosswalk down there. I'm like,
first of all, I still prefer to be at the crosswalk because people see the crosswalk and it's safer. Okay,
I understand
when people driving, but I will cross the street.
How many cars was around?
It was none. It was none. And they called me, like I was going out with some of my sailor friends and we had just got out of boot camp and they was running across the street and I was like, oh, I don't want to. And they was like, come on, Mother Teresa. Come on, Mother Teresa. Because I didn't want to do it. So yes, I had to really learn how to stand up for myself, you know, because I was taught that, respect your elders, and I do respect my elders still, but sometimes your elders,
don't know what they talking about.
Not 100% of the time. They're human beings.
We all make mistakes. No disrespect, elders.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
So, just like I said, I had to learn how to stand up for myself. I had to understand that just because a person is an adult doesn't mean they have it correct all the time. And sometimes rules are not correct and you have to fight against those rules. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so now I'm all about it. Like, why did we make this rule? And is it good? Now, I done learned. I definitely have learned, but coming out of my household, I was definitely very, very obedient. Yeah. And like I said, I followed all the rules all the time. And,
yeah.
So, but no, I definitely wasn't a liar. I'm still not a liar. So I can see how that could happen to some people.
Right.
But yeah, so that's a authoritarian, okay?
And just to throw it out there, I kind of fudged a little bit when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Lied sometimes, and I get that. But as you grow older, what really helped me is you just really have to understand that what you put out in the world is what you're going to get back. You know what I'm saying? So when you give things to people give to you. That's just how this world is set up. So when you lie to people gonna lie to you. Mm-hmm. So if you look at it in that way, you will really be careful what you do to others, because it's gonna come right back. And I promise you, that's how it works. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure. So authoritative. So here's some statements. See if this sounds like you. You put a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with your child. You explain the reasons behind your rules. You enforce rules and give consequences, but take your child's feelings into consideration. If these statements sound familiar to you, you may be an authoritative parent.
Super me. I think that's more me than... What? Super me. I think that's more me than... Look, we could bring Jordan in here right now. And I tell her there's always consequences to your actions, period. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Do you take your child's feelings into consideration?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on what's going on, depending on what it is. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Let me finish reading this. Authoritative parents have rules and they have consequences, but they also take their child's opinion into account. They validate their children's feelings, while also making it clear that adults are ultimately in charge. Authoritative parents invest time and energy into preventing behavior issues before they start. They also use positive discipline strategies to reinforce good behavior, like praise and reward systems.
Sure.
Researchers have found kids who have authoritative parents are most likely to become responsible adults who feel comfortable expressing their opinions. Children raised with authoritative discipline tend to be happy and successful. They're also more likely to be good at making decisions and evaluating safety risk on their own.
Yeah.
So you feel like that's you?
Yeah, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
So Jason is a blend, in my opinion, between authoritarian and authoritative.
Yeah.
Definitely, he does a good job at explaining the rules and telling the reasons and things like that. But you have definitely told me that you want Jordan to do what you say to do when you say do it.
Yeah, I agree. It depends on what it is. It depends on how much time you got to explain. You know what I'm saying? It's different factors.
I feel like you a little bit more on the authoritarian side, though.
If y'all, we did a role reversal episode. You can check that out right here. Bing. That was like episode 74. You know what I'm saying? We on like episode 110. So that role reversal happened a while ago. And so what that means is Ashley's been working more than, because at first she wasn't working. Right. So it's a lot of time that you really don't get to see me interact with the kids because you're working. Mm-hmm. So maybe used to, you know what I'm saying?
You feel like you changed?
Sure. Do you see? You have to. Mm-hmm. Being with these kids, shoot, you got to give in. You got to let go and let God. You hear me? You got to. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to stress yourself out. You're going to, it's when you doing all that, like, it just causes too much tension and stress on you. Mm-hmm. You got to let it go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sometimes we come up with rules together.
That's a nice thing.
Mm-hmm.
Permissive parenting. You set rules, but rarely enforce them. You don't give out consequences very often. You think your child will learn best with little interference from you. Excuse me. If any of these statements sound familiar to you, you are a permissive parent.
Again, no judgment zone, but that ain't what happened here.
Permissive parents are lenient. They often only step in when there's a serious problem. They're quite forgiving and they adopt the attitude of kids will be kids. When they do use consequences, they may not make those consequences stick. They might give privileges back if a child begs, or they may allow a child to get out of time out early if he promises to be good. Permissive parents usually take on more of a friend role than a parent role. They often encourage their children to talk with them about their problems, but they usually don't put much effort into discouraging poor choices or bad behavior. They may exhibit more behavioral problems as they don't appreciate authority and rules. They often have low self-esteem and may report a lot of sadness. Kids who grow up with permissive parents are more likely to struggle academically. What? So if two people are married and one person is authoritarian and the other person is permissive, can you see how that can cause a whole lot of problems?
I mean, it can, and also it may not. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe it just depends on how strong-willed either one of them are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if the permissive parent isn't that strong-willed about, or doesn't have a big stance, because if they're permissive, they really just kind of permissive on pretty much everything. Yeah. Right? So they might not even like, okay, you handle that. You know what I'm saying, discipline the children, you deal with all that.
But what if you do something to undermine what your spouse has said? So one of the things that they said in this summary is that, you don't stick to the punishments. Right. Yeah. So if, you say, I want my daughter to go be in timeout for 10 minutes and you, take out in 5, then that child is children are smart. Okay. Like that child is going to recognize that this is what's happening. Right. Oh, yeah. And that happens in relationships. Sometimes one parent is less strict or, and that child will go to that parent. And now the two parents have an argument on their hands now because of that. Right. So I would say that the only permissive thing that I have from reading this summary is that I do believe that I am a little lenient for some things because I do believe that kids will be kids. But when I set up, say, Jordan has to go to timeout, she's not getting out early. Like, I'm not permissive like that, right? Mm-hmm. But I do have a little bit more leniency that I feel than you do. Mm-hmm. I remind you that they're children, you know what I mean? So like, we don't allow jumping on the couch and things like that. So I think that like some permissive parents would do things like that. Just let them, do stuff like that.
But sometimes they jump on the couch and we let them.
No, we stopping them.
Just did it last week. When they was jumping on the couch and we had the little barbecue. They was jumping on the couch, but we was just kind of like
that's because we was distracted.
I mean, but we saw them and we didn't say get down.
That's because we was drinking.
Did we say get down?
Yeah, eventually.
Oh no, they got down on their own.
I think I told them to get down. Anyway, so the point is that I can see how that can cause a lot of problems. And so like I said, for me, I do know that I'm a little bit more lenient with them. And I will say that they are kids, and, give them a little leeway. But when it comes to like certain things or, the punishment that we agree that we have set, the discipline that we've agreed on, that's what's going to happen. Right. Like once we agree on it, then I'm not going to say, no, it's okay. Right. Like if Jason say Jordan can't watch something, like recently I banned this YouTube channel with the kids playing with their parents and, it's just not educational. And I'm like, no more of that. Cause she did something that I didn't like. It was like making fun of other kids. And I feel like she picked it up from one of those shows. I don't know which one it is, but no more. So Jason has definitely,
At first I forgot, you know what I'm saying?
You did?
I did.
You let her watch it?
I think I let her watch it one time.
Okay.
Because she was like, can I watch?
Exactly. See?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd be like, why is she asking me like that? You know what I'm saying?
Because she knows she's not supposed to, so she asking you.
Right.
Because she know I said that I don't want her to watch it. So, so Jason forgot, but you have not been letting her watch it once you remember. Right. So so that's, once we agree on something, it is what it is. In the same way with him, if he says, no, I don't want her I don't want her using any electronics today, I'm not going to say, why not? Well, I may ask you privately, why not? But if that's, we talk about it and we agree on that, then I'm not going to say, let's watch it. Right. So unless you change your mind. Sorry. So yes, uninvolved parenting. Here's some statements that you can ask yourself. You don't ask your child about school or homework. You rarely know where your child is or who she's with. You don't spend much time with your child. If these statements sound familiar, you may be an uninvolved parent. Uninvolved parents tend to have little knowledge of what their children are doing. They tend to be there tends to be few rules. Children may not receive much guidance, nurturing, and parental attention. Uninvolved parents expect children to raise themselves. They don't devote much time or energy into meeting children's basic needs. Uninvolved parents may be neglectful, but it's not always intentional. Kind of like what you were saying earlier.
Right.
A parent with mental health issues or substance abuse problems, for example, may not be able to care for a child's physical and emotional needs on a consistent basis. At other times, uninvolved parents lack knowledge about child development, and sometimes they're simply overwhelmed with other problems like work, paying bills, and managing households. Children with uninvolved parents are likely to struggle with self-esteem issues. They tend to perform poorly in school. They also exhibit frequent behavior problems and rank low in happiness.
What?
Yes. So I really like Jason is just such a sweet man. You're so wonderful to point out that we don't want to judge, right? Sure. Because everybody has different lives, and like this summary says, it can be overwhelmed with work, a number of things, right? But we do want to try to move toward what the therapists say is what they see as the best one, and that is the authoritative. Not the authoritarian.
They should have named those.
I know, right?
Like, come on, y'all.
Well, because it's like as an authoritarian, you have the authority, right? Mm-hmm. So authoritative, you understand that you have the authority, but you also need to consider, your child's feelings and consider their development and encourage them to grow. Yeah. So I'm more authoritative. I'm not taking control over you.
Yeah.
That's like authoritarian is like more control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And authoritative is like, no, I'm not your friend.
Right.
I am, but I'm still your parent. I'm in charge, but I consider your feelings. I explain to you the reasons why we do the things that we do. And this is to help you develop better as a person.
What do you think about this statement? I'm not your friend to your children.
That's what we grew up hearing. I'm not your little friend. I'm not one of your little friends. I think that I don't know. What do you think about it?
This is what I think about it. I think that we should be our children's friends, right? I think we should, because you got to think about it. Look at from the mind of a child. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? All they know is, I want friends. They put friends on a high pedestal. Mm-hmm. We're friends, right? That's what we're thinking about. We're looking at the kids, right? And so when you say, I'm not your friend, they looking like, well, what are you? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You're an enemy?
I'm your parent.
But then you got to look at it from a child's mind. Mm-hmm. They don't understand parent. They looking at, that's my friend. That's my friend. My mama's my friend. My daddy's my friend. They putting you in a friendship box of love, just saying I love you, basically. You know what I'm saying? Have you noticed like some kids kind of struggle with saying love you, because I took Isaiah a minute to kind of say I love you.
He little.
I get it, but still. But he will probably associate quicker to friendship than love, right? Because love is deeper than friendship, right? So we got to look at it from the kid's perspective. So if you're telling especially little kids, when they're young, I'm not your friend. I'm not one of your little friends. But then later on in life, you try to be their friends. And it's like, well, why are you trying to be my friend now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like setting that proper foundation early on. And, you know, then your children, because who they tell secrets to?
Their friends. So I understand that, but I think that like it's still sometimes people do take this. Some parents do try to be their child's friend too much, and they take it too far, and they start telling their child their problems, adult problems that probably a child shouldn't know about.
Sure,
you know what I mean.
Sure.
Or like, I don't know. It's just got to be. It's still got to be an understanding that while I love you, I am a friend to you. I am first and foremost your parent.
Yes.
As long as you can keep that line, you know.
Well, it's up to the parent. You know what I'm saying? So that's not the kids. You know what I'm saying? The kids don't have complex minds like that.
Right.
So it's up to the parent to make sure you draw those lines. Because come on, tell me this: do you tell everything to all your friends?
No.
You tell certain things to certain friends because you understand the level of friendship that you have, or the level of understanding that particular friend have, right? So you got to understand that, yes, this is my friend, but that person Jordan wouldn't understand complex adult situations because they're a kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's certain things like if you and you know, if you become a multi-billionaire, right? It's certain conversations you can have with certain people, right? Because they may judge you differently because of, they think, you got it. You don't have no issues. What you talking about your problems for? You know what I'm saying? You a billionaire. You ain't got no problems. But some people don't understand that all levels have struggles, no matter where you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you can talk to a fellow billionaire and they can understand what you're saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's up to the parent to draw those lines.
For sure. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, should we stop saying that phrase? Probably. Like, I don't say that.
It's up to you. Whatever y'all want to do. I'm just putting what I feel out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, who's right or wrong? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But what I'm saying, this is what I feel in my heart that I want to do.
Right. Okay. Yes. I mean, I agree. I feel the same way as you. So
that's Isaiah hollering.
Yeah, I don't know.
Trying to get out the room. Man, go back and watch Coco Melon.
So again, so that's the first part of it. And so the second part of it is, you know, again, evaluating why you believe what you believe. Our belief systems come from our upbringings, like we've been talking about. So you have to ask yourself, is this good for you? You know what I mean? You can change your mind on what you think is, you know, the best way to parent. So even taking an uninvolved parent, let's take, you know, men, for example, sometimes when they grow up in a household where their father did nothing but provide and they didn't really spend that much time with their kids, that's kind of uninvolved, right?
That's true.
You know, the father is uninvolved. The mother is taking care of almost everything. And so a boy or man that grows up in that sort of environment, he may think that his only job is to provide for his children.
Exactly.
And that the mother is the person who takes care of all of their like emotional, you know, well-being. So you can make a decision for yourself if that is the way that you want to parent, or if you want to be more involved. Right. You've had this experience kind of talking to some men about this, right?
Sure.
Do you mind sharing, or do you remember anything that what I'm talking about? Or
well, I mean, just, you know, a lot of from my experience, a lot of men just, you know, we've you know, just thought that all we do is pay for the bills, go to work, you know what I'm saying, handle that piece of, you know what I'm saying, do protection, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? But there's more to it, to, you know, bringing up a healthy household, you know what I'm saying, healthy family. And so we skip out on, like you said, the emotional part and just helping out around the house and just being there for the children, just talking to them, you know, and you wonder why sometimes your children kind of go astray sometimes. It's basically because you're just not spending enough time with them. You're not communicating with them.
Man, you got to know what's in their mind, man. Because when I don't know, for some reason, I can really remember how I used to think as a child. And I think it's awesome because I really understand like how important it is to talk to your children and to like really get into that brain and really explain things to them, because they don't know, like they're kids. So they don't know certain things, and you have to like really get into their head.
You got to talk to them.
Yeah. To help them.
Because anybody can survive a 5-minute conversation. Mm-hmm. How's school? Good. How's this? Good. You talk to your friend? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They can survive that. That's no problem. They not telling you nothing. Mm-hmm. But if you literally talk to them for an hour, they're going to start talking. Just like if you talk to me about a subject, you're going to really get the nonverbal things or the other things that I'm telling you. You're going to be able to pick up on those things and really understand where they're going with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to have those lengthy conversations.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, a few episodes, well, I don't remember what episode that was, but we talked about, I think it was his needs, her needs. We did a series about his needs, her needs, and they were talking about different things that women, some women need. And one was like family time or something like that. Yeah. So if you're married to somebody, or that's a really high need of hers, is for us to be as a family, and for the father to like be really involved in the children's life. Yeah. And you're an uninvolved father, then see how that can cause problems. You know what I mean? Right. So that's definitely important to know.
His needs, her needs. Make sure y'all check that out.
So yeah, like I said, if you find yourself having conflicts about this, definitely really figure out which one you are, and communicate with your partner about how do we come to a middle ground. And like I said, the therapists feel like the authoritative style is better, and so that's what Jason and I are working toward, and we feel pretty close to that. Yeah. So
and it's okay, you know what I'm saying, to seek for help. Go to YouTube, man. I'm pretty sure it's all types of parenting coaches. They got information out there for you. I'm gonna be looking for some, because we all can improve. For sure.
Right. And I was gonna say, like when you had this conversation with your partner, just understand their child. It's important for you to understand how they were raised and why they are the way that they are, because sometimes, especially if they like the authoritarian and you're not, is you can kind of like, I don't know, think differently of your partner or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So it's just important for you to understand each other and, think about whether or not like how, the way that you were raised affected you, and whether or not that's something that you really want to do. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's it for this episode. But the next episode, we're going to talk about like the three things that couples.
So it's going to be a part 2.
Yes, we're going to have part 2 talking about this, and we're going to talk about the 3 leading conflicts that people have when they have different parenting styles, right? Yeah. The 3 things that parents fight about when it comes to their kids. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Come back next episode. And like Jason said, if you're struggling with this, counseling, books, YouTube videos. But of course, counseling is better because it's more specific to you and your situation. Sure. So, but yeah, come back next episode and we'll give some more tips and talk about these 3 things that couples fight about over their children.
For sure. And if you notice, Ashley is wearing the Loveology podcast hat, and I'm running the Loveologist t-shirt, man. If you want to pick you up some, go to loveologypodcast.com and go to our collections, man. Take a look at what we have. Order it. You get there pretty fast. It's going to be custom made for you. All right. And if you want to become a patron, shout out to all our patrons out there. We really appreciate y'all because y'all are supporting us. And some Patreons are supporting us as little as $2 a month. So if you want to do that, you can go to loveologypodcast.com, find that Patreon button, pick a tier, and join us. And you can also just donate to Loveology Podcast too. If you don't want to do the monthly thing, you can donate $1 or $2. You hear me? Mm-hmm. You can do that off PayPal. So go to loveologypodcast@gmail.com. That's our PayPal account. So go from there. Cash App as well, Loveology Podcast. And the $ Loveology Podcast. So definitely appreciate it. We love y'all. Anything else you want to add, love?
Nope, that's it.
That's all. So we're going to catch y'all next time. Until then, peace out.
Bye.